YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with my Week 3 NFL score predictions. We predict the score of every game every single week. Also take a look at some of the lines, see if any of these games are worth putting money on. Right before we get started with all these games, we do have extra content available if you go to our Patreon, patreon.com/thegoathouse. Link in the top of the description. Every single week, you'll either get a updated mock draft or my playoff and Super Bowl predictions. You can possibly get bonus videos, NFL videos, blooper videos, behind the scene videos, anything like that. And you could join our Discord chat, constant NFL discussions going on in there. So check it out. Link in the description. Subscriber goal is at 40K by the end of this year. Support has been awesome lately. Appreciate you guys very much. If you don't subscribe, please do so. We have you covered with NFL and college football content all year long. Plenty of predictions, recaps, power rankings, and more. Click that like button. Check us out on Twitter. Always tweeting during games. First game of the week, Thursday Night Football. Titans-Jags. I expect a defensive battle here. Seems like the Titans always have the edge over the Jags. Just seems like that the last few years. They do a real good job game planning for them. Really every team. Vrabel is a defensive mind. The defense looks really good right now. Even in the loss to the Colts, the defense looks good. It's just about the offense getting going. They weren't too smart with the clock at the end of the last game, trying to draw the defense off sides and then wasting a whole bunch of time. Then next time getting the ball back with barely any time, spiking the ball, on 3rd and 2. They got to fix that, but it's early in the year. They can continue to fix that. I think they win this one 17-13. They are -1.5. It looks like they may easily cover, but it could be very tight. I still see it being a field goal game. Maybe you think the Jags win. I think it could be a field goal or a little more of a game. That's why I got them winning by 4 points here. It's just Derrick Henry. Just seems like he's the Jaguar killer. That's what it seems like. So I definitely think, they should be able to get in the end zone at least twice here. So I think it'll be a fun defensive game. Next game is the Raiders and the Vikings. I got the Vikings winning by 11 points, 28-17. And the Raiders are +8 in that one. So I do have the Vikings covering. Don't see any reason why, that's one to keep an eye on. If it somehow goes to 7, I would probably jump all over it. There's no reason why the Vikings shouldn't win by more than a touchdown. You see how the Raiders struggle against the Chiefs defense. They only put up 10 points and it was all instant. I think a similar thing could happen. If the Raiders get the ball first, they can go down there and score right away. The Vikings defense is very good, but it's all about adjustments. And they usually make them pretty quick. Struggled with the Packers a little bit last week early. But I think the Vikings offense can get going. Delvin Cook's going to be going, but I think Kirk can have a bounce-back game. I like that. If that drops down even to 1 point, I feel much, much better about it. They should. There's no reason why they shouldn't win by more than a touchdown. So I got the Vikings 28-17. Some guys beat up from the Raiders too, so that's something else to keep an eye on. Next game's Bengals and Bills. 16-27 Bills. And the Bengals are +6. So I have the Bills covering. This could be the trap game, though. Like I said in our straight-up picks, did do our straight-up picks with multiple other members of the Goat House. If you want a little more of a perspective, more perspectives on these games, you can go ahead and check that out. But one of the guys picked the Bengals, and I kind of was saying, I picked the Bills, but obviously, but I was saying the Bengals could win this game because, I always expect them starting off the year good. Dalton's healthy. And they usually start the year off good. So I'm kind of waiting for that game. They played okay against the Seahawks. They could have won that game. So I'm kind of waiting for that game. The Bills haven't really played anybody yet. But the Bengals really aren't anybody either. So this could be one of those trap games. It is in Buffalo. So it could be closer than you think. That's why it's a little risky. But I know, for the Bengals to win, Dalton can throw a lot, but he's not the best passer. Mixon really has to get going, which he hasn't done yet. I don't know if he can get going against this defense, looking at this linebacker unit. So that's really my concern in being in Buffalo. And the Bills should be able to put up points on the Bengals defense. So I do like the Bills in this one, but that's one to definitely be cautious of. Next game, the Dolphins and the Cowboys. I do have the Dolphins putting up 10 points. A lot of people have them putting up 0, maybe 3, 7. I'm going with 10. I think they can get something going at some point in this game. But the Cowboys still covering. These lines that are this big always scare the heck out of me. I think the Cowboys should cover, but it's so scary. I never really touch the ones that are this high, 21.5. 34-10, though, there's really no reason why the Cowboys shouldn't cover, but you never know. But there is another game that I like better with a big line on it, so we'll see that. But I got the Cowboys. They'll do enough in this game. Don't really need to break it down. Dolphins might have one of the worst teams in NFL history at the moment. Next game's Broncos and Packers. +8 for the Broncos, but I do have the Packers winning by 10. But that I'm kind of back and forth. I had it at one point where the Broncos could get around 16, 17 points. So it could make it a little interesting. The thing is, Packers look good, but it looks like they may rely on the script, which was good in the beginning of last game against the Vikings. But who knows? There's weeks where it really doesn't matter who the defense is. There's weeks where maybe it doesn't work, and that could hurt them. But they are home in this game. Defense looks good. The Broncos got somewhat of a groove going late in the Bears game, and that's against a good defense. They got it going late, so maybe they figured something out. You see Flacco's getting used to the RPO action, the quick passes, so maybe they can get something going. There's a part of me that thinks that, but the Packers are the much better team. They're feeling it right now. They're home. I got them winning by 10, 24-14. Next game, Falcons and Colts. This is going to be a tight one. This is going to be a squeaker. 27-28. Colts is what I got. And the Colts home opener, that's a good sign, obviously, for the Colts direction. The Falcons, their offensive line is rough right now. Matt Ryan isn't playing the best. It's because he's under pressure a lot. There's some injuries on the offensive line, so I do worry about that. But at the same time, I think they put up points on the Colts. I think Matt Ryan will be able to throw on them. That's why 27. But I like the Colts at home here. I think Marlon Mack has a day. That's the guy to watch out for in this game. I think Marlon Mack has a day. The defense for the Colts, I'm excited to watch this defense because week 1, a little sloppy, in terms of the tackling. Week 2, just phenomenal. Loved them in week 2. We'll see how they do in week 3 here. See if we can finally get an identity on them. It's still pretty early even after this week. The Colts winning by 1 while favored by 2. That's a tight one. Tight call there. Next game will be the Ravens and the Chiefs, one of the better games of the week. I got it somewhat close here. Ravens are +6.5, and they lose by 5, so that's pretty close. It's another weird one because how's the Ravens defense? How's their defense going to be in this game? I don't know if anybody's defense can play great against the Chiefs. And how's their defense compared to last year? I think the secondary might be a little better, adding Earl Thomas. I don't know if the pass rush is as good, though, and you can't really – seems like there's not too much pass rush getting after Mahomes. But I think they'll be able to score. They can possibly score more points than this. I'm not saying this is what they're going to get for 100%. This is my prediction. But they can possibly get the points on the board here. But the Chiefs' defense did look good against what we thought was a good Raiders offense last week. They held them to 10 points, so – something interesting, but there's really no stopping Mahomes, so I still see them getting in the 30s, even if a very good Ravens defense is on. I still see them scoring up there. So another close and good game I'm looking forward to watching. Running back situation's interesting for the Chiefs because both of them are a little beat up, Damian Williams and LaShawn McCoy, that is, so it's something to monitor as we get closer here. And the Jets, I got the Jets dropping a donut here. The Patriots are 30. I don't know. I've been predicting scores for a few years. I don't know if I had a team scoring 0. With the third string, Luke Falcon, I just don't see it. I don't even see him score. Maybe 3, maybe they're gonna have something lucky's gonna have to happen. I think something very fortunate on the Jets side. They got some playmakers on defense, but you're playing. Tom Brady was out of practice today with a calf strain, I think it was. I'm not too worried about it. Maybe they pull him a little early, and I'm still not worried about it. I like Stidham a lot. I think he can play really well in this game even, and maybe that's why it's only 23. This is the one I was talking about where it's a high line here. Patriots are favored by 23, but I just do not see how they don't win by at least 27 points. That's kind of my number there. It's got to be at least 27, and I was going to go higher than 30 originally, but I can see Stidham actually getting some action, but he can play. I think he can play, especially with the talent they have. I just don't see how the Jets can even score in this game. A touchdown, really, I should say. I'm not really seeing it. Something fortunate is going to have to happen on their side in New England. I've never touched a game this high. I've never, it's kind of a rule of mine, but I might have to break it here because I just don't see it. It's 1 point off, but even the very, very bottom line is 24-0 or 24-point win maybe. I don't know. 27-3, I should say, is a possibility. I just don't know how they wouldn't be able to, shut them out or very close and score more than 27 points. I keep saying it, but I don't see why not. Rough season already, and it just started for the Jets. It's unfortunate things happening there. Next game, I like the Lions in the upset here. It's tough. They're +6.5 though, but I feel like they'll keep it close. If they do lose this game, I feel like it's going to be by 3 points. So this is definitely an interesting one. But I do have them winning because I really like the way their defense is looking. Their defense is very unique. A lot of disguises. I think it could cause Carson Wentz some struggle. We've seen him struggle against the Falcons defense. A little better defense here. They are home in this game, though. I think Wentz plays overall a solid game, but it could cause some problems with their disguises and their blitzes, really, coming from the Lions and Patricia's defense. They're phenomenal at, giving different looks on defense. And the offense couldn't really get going against the Chargers, even though the defense won them the game. But I think the offense can get going here. I worry about the Eagles' corners against Galladay and Marvin Jones, and then T.J. Hawkinson will be manned up by somebody. We'll see who that is. I'm, assuming it's going to be, one of their safeties, but it's going to be interesting. I think the Lions can score on this Eagles defense. Not an insane amount, obviously, but I also think they can slow them down enough on defense. So I have them winning by 1 plus 6.5. I think it's a pretty big number for them. If that goes to 7, I feel a lot more comfortable, obviously, because maybe they lose by a touchdown, but I think if they do lose, it's a three-point game. Maybe max a 4-point game, 24-20, something like that. But I like the Lions. My gut feeling tells me the Lions in this game just because the matchup, because the injuries on the Eagles side. And I think Carson Wentz is still kind of getting his groove back. Not the best game last week against the Falcons. Next game, the Panthers, Kyle Allen, the Panthers versus Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. I got the Cardinals winning 24-20. They actually might be better off with Allen over Cam Newton the way Cam's playing, and I think he can get some points. He was a former top recruit, so the guy can play. Just unfortunate things happening while he's in college. The guy can play, all right? He's not anything tremendous, obviously, yet, but I think he'll get some points against this Cardinals defense, 20 points. But the Cardinals, I think, get around here. The Panthers defenses look solid. I don't know if it's that good. They kept the Bucs a little low. I think they can struggle with this Murray Kingsbury offense a little bit. I think McCaffrey does well in this game, but I think Murray has a day through the air in this game. I got the Cardinals by 4, and the Panthers are minus 2.5. So as you can see, that's one I think will change the line. I'm surprised by that one, but as you can see, it's one that I like right now. Next game is the Giants and the Bucs, and Daniel Jones can get something going. Maybe it's a little bit late. I don't think the Bucs beat them by all that much. You see, I'm very close with the line there, winning by 6, 6.5. So maybe not one I would touch. But the Bucs, I still want to see more on them. I think Barkley can have a real good day too. So Barkley could be the difference maker. Barkley can win this game by himself. He really can. But you look what the Bucs did to McCaffrey last week. Let's see what they can do with against Barkley this week. So that's why it's a lot of question marks still up in the air. And Winston single-handedly could blow this game. I'm not really predicting him to. I have them winning by 6, but he can. We know what he's capable of doing at the good and the bad. So another tough one. Just still some question marks here. In this game, what's the quarterback situation? Can Barkley really take over in this game when the Bucs shut McCaffrey down? Was that kind of a fluke thing, shutting McCaffrey down? Can they do it again? I did like Sue and Vita Vea. How will the Bucs pass rush be? A lot of question marks in this one, so would stay far away from this one. Texans and Chargers, I think, will be a very tight one, 24-27. I got the Chargers winning. The difference in this one, I think, is the Chargers pass rush versus the Texans offensive line. And the Texans, defense played solid last week, but they're going against the Chargers. It's not the Lions defense, which the Chargers saw last week, but have them winning by 3, and they're minus 3. So another tough one. I think will be close. Texans got to do better offensively than they did last week. Maybe a little more like we saw against the Saints. So maybe they're better away, something weird like that. So maybe they'll put up points here in LA, but I like the Chargers in this one. Like I said, the difference for me in this one, being home in the pass rush versus the Texans offensive line, and they get some good pressure. We've expected more by now, but I think they get it going. Steelers 23, Niners 28, a 5-point win while they're minus 6.5. Rudolph can play. He could have a little bit struggles in this game. That's why this is a big question mark game too, because last game it's kind of like he doesn't expect to play, kind of gets thrown in there, and then this whole week he knows he's starting this game, so a little more pressure. So he could struggle. The Niners have been a pretty good defense in terms of playmaking ability, so they can pick him off. They really can. So I can see the Niners really blowing him out here or something like this. I think the Steelers can win too. I'm not going to say 0% chance. It's a tough one, but I believe in Rudolph. I just don't know about right away. In the defense, they're going to have to get some pass rush going, which teams have not been able to do. It's a Steelers' strong point, though, but teams have not been able to get some pressure on Garoppolo. If they get pressure, good pressure, I think they win the game because that can throw Garoppolo off. So there's a lot of different factors both ways. It's still very early in the season. We're still learning. I usually say, don't overreact from weeks 1, 2, and 3 even. Mostly it's 1 and 2. People usually say it, but I'd say through 3, maybe even 4 in these days. So we're still learning about some teams. There's a question marks in this game, but I'm confident about the Niners. Next game, Saints and Seahawks, 17-27. Another guy I believe in is Teddy Bridgewater, but I don't know if it's so soon right now, especially against the Seahawks defense. I think I do like Teddy, but I don't know if they get too much going. One thing that sticks with me is they can get fancy with Taysom Hill. It can be hard for the Seahawks to game plan against. They don't really have game plan on Bridgewater plus using Hill more. I think Taysom Hill could be used more than he usually is. So that could be the factor that proves me wrong here in my score line, and that could cause the Saints to score more points, maybe well into the 20s. So that's something to look out for. That's why a lot of these games, I don't know if I like for like different factors, but I do have the Seahawks winning by 10 while they're -4. I even like the Saints defense. The tackling downfield's not too good. I think Russell Wilson has the day either way. So either way, I like them in this game. Got them winning by 10. Next game, we got the Rams and the Browns. I think closer than you think, but then you look at the line. I made the score line, then I saw the line. It was a little closer than I thought. I figured the Rams would be favored by, around a touchdown, somewhere around there, but it ended up being 3. I think the Browns offense kind of breaks out a little bit in this game. Maybe not fully. They get to 28 points. The tough thing, Baker hasn't been reading defenses too well. He's kind of looking at one receiver. Maybe it's just a little rust he's got to knock off, things that he really wasn't doing at the end of last year. So what do the Rams have planned for them? I don't know if the Rams are a team that's going to disguise a lot or give him too much of a problem. What's going to give him a problem if he's healthy is Aaron Donald, obviously. But I don't know if there's a bunch of disguises going on, so that could be a good thing. The Browns can score some points. This could be an upset win, but I think the Rams just got too much offense. Got them winning 30-28 here. And we saw the Rams last week. Once they got into the secondary of the Saints, it was a struggle of tackling the guys, whether it was receivers or the running backs. Similar thing with the Browns have been noticing. They've been, mainly in week 1, but we're still very close, and then it could happen again. Once the ball's in the secondary, they could struggle to tackle, really with their angles. I did not like in week 1, but that was only week 1. We'll see if it happens again. We're still learning about these teams. And the last game, I got the Bears winning 23-17. So the Bears get a little more offense, just a little more offense than they have been recently, because the Redskins, I think, is a team you can throw downfield on, something the Bears have not been able to do. I don't know if they're tremendous in this game doing it, but because it's the Redskins, I think they can do more of it. The key is the Redskins pass rush in this game. They have to get after Trubisky. They have to. Ryan Kerrigan and Montez Sweat have to do it. They need to use their inside linebacker. I think they got some good linebackers in terms of their blitzing ability. Ryan Anderson, they should use some more of those guys, to get after Trubisky. That's what the Packers did. So that's what the Redskins should do. And Keenum's been playing solid. Peterson's kind of known as the Bear Killer, but it's been a long time since, different Bears defense, and Peterson's older. But I think he can get a little something going. I think Keenum can get a little something going. So 17 points is kind of I don't want to say a lot, but again, against the Bears defense possibly. This should be a good game. It is a tough place to play on Monday night. The Redskins, being in Washington. So it could be a good game. I just don't see how the Bears don't win this game, really. But I guess the reason being would be home field advantage in prime time. But we'll see. It should be an interesting one. But that's my score predictions for this week. All my locks of the week tomorrow. We have plenty of videos already on the channel with our straight-up picks already on the channel. It's a good time. Check it out. Power rankings, recaps from last week, players of the week from last week with some game film breakdown. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out. Some exciting stuff here at the Goat House. Thanks, everyone, for the support. Please subscribe if you haven't quite yet. Thanks for watching this video. Goodbye.